Get hot!
As a veteran of the United States military, I can finally get the opportunity to enjoy special events, like a date with my wife, or going out together with my family and friends. Things that we couldn't afford, thanks to VetTix.
Every empty seat at a concert, a game, motorsports, or a play is a missed opportunity to say thanks to a veteran and service member. We can help. We can give our veterans a special event where they too can create their own cherished memories. Find out how by visiting www.vettix.org. That's www.vettix.org. Find out how you can make a difference in a veteran's life.
Parenting is hard. Technology can make it harder. The Family Media Plan developed by the American Academy of Pediatrics helps make it easier. Go to healthychildren.org/media plan to create the media plan that's right for your family. Whether you make a full plan or just choose a few parts that matter the most to your family, healthychildren.org/media plan is an easy-to-use tool that will help your family set media priorities and create healthy digital habits in line with your family's values. You'll also get practical tips to help make the plan work. And you can come back to revise your plan as often as you need to, like at the beginning of each school year or during summer and holiday breaks. Raising kids in the age of screens is easier when you have a plan. Go to healthychildren.org/media plan and make your plan today.
WBSM presents The Ken Pittman Show. Streaming live on WBSM.com and the WBSM app. Call 508-996-0500. Now, Ken Pittman.
All right, take it easy. Well, some of the veteran and some retired WNBA players have, I think, resented the entrance of Caitlin Clark to the WNBA and stuck their neck out and said she's not going to amount to much. This is a tougher league than people know. Well, her first preseason game took place last night. Ryan, how do you think she did? I mean, she did not miss a beat from her college days, and which has only ended a few weeks ago.
Yeah, she didn't look that bad, Ken, but like
first shot was a 28-foot jumper, 3-point shot, nailed it.
Yeah, it was only preseason, though, Ken.
Got a rebound. Well, I mean, but the point is in the next level of competition, she looks like she at least belongs for now. It's a good indication.
Yeah, for right now.
Yeah, I'm not saying she's going to be MVP. I think she might. She has the potential.
She might be Rookie of the Year this year, Ken.
Well, it's a little early, but she has brought a lot of interest to the WNBA that wasn't there. And so I'm not sure what this resentment is. Who cares? I remember, like we talked about a couple weeks back, when Larry Bird retired, they had the current stars like Charles Barkley, who was still playing, say something into the camera, and he said, "Bye, Larry, thanks for the money." That's how you got to be looking at this. This is good for the whole league, not just for Caitlin Clark. The revenues go up, everybody gets paid more.
Yeah, I think all her games are sold out, Ken.
Yeah. I mean, look at Tiger Woods did for golf as a black player. He brought a lot of interest that wasn't there and was a superstar in the sport, generated revenues that were, I mean, wasn't hurting, but it certainly went up significantly. The revenues, the TV revenues, the demand, the contracts, the endorsements. I mean, he made a lot of money himself, but so did everybody else.
Now you got two golf leagues that are competing against each other now. Okay?
Yeah. Well, one of them's funded by Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. You ever watch that league?
No.
It's fun. It's funny.
What, the rules different?
Yeah, like for the PGA Tour, they play 4 rounds, Ken.
Yeah.
They play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And?
The other one, they only play Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
3 rounds.
And I think on the PGA Tour, you have to be like dressed.
That's like starting a new NASCAR, but it's the Daytona 400.
No, but if you look at the PGA Tour, Ken, they don't like the golfers on that tour. They don't get away with half of the stuff that the Live Golf Tour gets away with.
Oh yeah, like what?
Like if you, I don't know if you've played golf, but when you play golf,
it's awful.
You're supposed to be in like a polo shirt.
People in back of me aren't safe if I play golf.
And dress in khaki pants.
Yeah.
Like on the Live Golf Tour, you can wear shorts to play.
You can dress like Mo Howard on the golf course or Curly.
You can wear shorts and a polo shirt though. And then they have when you're teeing off, there's music blasting in the background. It's like,
can you go out there in a fig leaf just to distract the other players?
No.
Is there a rule against it?
I don't know.
Oh, look into that. But there's not a lot of real crazy rule changes, right? There's little lax here and there and shorter rounds, shorter tournaments.
On the league that's sponsored by Saudi Arabia, it's a team. It's a team thing, kind.
A collective score.
They do 4-people teams.
Mm-hmm.
They do the best 3 scores on Sunday.
What's that called when the Americans play the European golfers?
President's Cup or the Ryder Cup, Ken?
The Ryder Cup, right?
Yeah.
So is it sort of like that? It's a collective performance?
Yes.
All right.
But like on Sunday, they only take the top 3 scores for the 4-person team.
They mulligan the rest?
Yeah.
They give you the mulligan. All right. Well, I suppose that's interesting, right? If you're a golfer, that's a drastic change.
Ken, on the league that's sponsored by Saudi Arabia, there's a guy from New Bedford in there.
Really?
His name's Peter Uline.
No kidding.
His father used to be the CEO of Titleist, Ken.
Oh. Okay. Is that why he got on, or is he good?
No, he's good.
Legit?
He played on the PGA Tour first for like 10 years, and then went there.
A friend of mine beat John Daly in the long drive out in Las Vegas, won $100,000.
Who's that?
Dave Garekis, West Bridgewater.
Wow.
Yeah. Got a nice little hit there. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Wow. That just took my breath away. $100,000?
For beating John Daly in the long drive. Yeah. John Daly would have won the $100,000, but this guy did.
So it's like a long drive,
I don't know if it's 1 or 5 or 10. I couldn't tell you, but I know he did to get the money.
Oh, my gosh. Isn't that awesome?
Probably made sure that he probably sent them a round of drinks the night before.
How many years ago was that, Ken?
Oh, you're talking maybe 20.
Let's go back to what you were talking about earlier today. I'd like to tap on a few things.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Of course.
So I'm going to go back to Tyson fighting now. I think I know a lot of haters are going to be hating on me right now, but I'm sorry. A lot of athletes, boxing athletes, for some reason they have poor managers. They run out of money fast. And if you don't hurry up and get in the acting business or, I don't know, really more, what can you do if you don't get signed into a movie dealer?
Well, I didn't talk about that, but I am interested in the topic, and I know a little bit about it. I think Mike Tyson...
But what do you think? I think he needs money. He's generating money. He wants to show that he is somebody, and I think he's going to start to have something. He wants people to look at him, whether he wins or loses. It's definitely, he wants to generate the attention.
Well, this is my prediction.
Okay.
Because Mike Tyson is a year younger than me, and I didn't amount to...
He looks bad, too. I mean, he looks like he's 35. I mean, body-wise. Right?
Yeah, but you know what, though? The oxygen is still getting delivered the same as somebody who doesn't look the part, right? So if he doesn't finish this guy quick, if this guy gets on his bike and is smart and stays away from him and tires him out, he's going to run out of gas. So
what makes you think that Tyson doesn't purposely run out of fuel because he maybe really wants to promote him if he loses. Like, I really, truly believe there's a promotion. I think Tyson's got something. I don't know.
We were talking about this. Even if it is set up, would you trust Mike Tyson to take a dive?
Yes.
You would?
I would at this point. Yes, absolutely.
I wouldn't want to.
Because he would become his promoter in the long run. Not right away, because we would all say, well, that was fixed.
Did you see Mike Tyson's show? Did you see his stand-up? He does a show on I don't know if it's HBO. It's one of those streaming.
No,
and he talks about his life. And
I don't even have TV, Ken.
Okay, so he goes around and he was doing very well with these shows, selling out and talking about his life. And he's actually a very personable guy.
Yes, I know.
And I actually like who Mike Tyson has become. I didn't like him. I actually rooted against him most times. I thought he was a jerk when he was young.
Well, back in the day with Robin Givens, he was a jerk. He was this, and that. But when he went and got this Hawaiian tattoo on his face, married this new woman, and she's been his force with his, like he says, has said in interviews that he had, like, it wasn't really diagnosed as bipolar, but it was definitely he had this thing.
Well, I also think, he had it very tough very early. Mike Tyson has a tragic life for the most part. And we all have to consider that, right?
No excuses.
And so I think there's a little PTSD there. And to his credit, I think he's worked on it.
Oh, yeah. I just can't wait to see how this works out.
I'm going to tell you how it's going to work out. Tyson, if this is not, let's just for the moment, just say this is not fixed, that this is a legitimate fight. Tyson is going to absolutely look for a quick knockout.
He's going to generate a lot of money for HBO or whatever.
He's getting $20 million. The other guy, Paul, is getting, I think, $30 million. And there may be some bonuses depending on pay-per-view, but they're going to make a lot of money on this. And I'm hoping that Tyson knocks him out, because I think there are much more deserving fights to look for, right? Professional fighters who are not getting as much money, and they should be the ones getting the money.
I would love to see the Big Bang knock you out in one round, second round. But I've also, I want to comment on the other topics you brought up. So I love the fact that you're so into, I just love the fact that you're such a busy man. I just can't. You're all over the place. And therefore, I am all over the place.
I try not to think about it because I need a break.
Oh.
I'm kidding. No, go ahead, though. Which other topic did you want to discuss?
So with the Karen Reed, I just want to say, I'm just wondering, and this is all, I know I brought up the dog the last time. I am going to, again, this time. But here's the thing. When the EMT, the young EMT that was on the stand, younger, he said that he definitely knew he had been dead for a while because he had layers.
No signs of life. Yeah.
No. Listen to me, please. Layers of clothing on him, and I thought to myself, why? If you leave point A, if you leave your house and you know you're going over to your girlfriend's, friends, whatever, why would you layer yourself up like that?
Well, I'm going to stop you for a moment. The guy's original recollection was that he had a good winter jacket on when, in fact, he had a sweatshirt on.
Right. Well, I'm telling you, the other day listening to it, while watching it, his testimony, he said layers of clothing. And they said, well, how would you know that? Because they were really stuck to him. Which means he'd been there and they were frozen enough where they really had to cut it. But again, he said layers. And I'm sorry, if I was a jury member, I would keep that in my mind. Layers.
But his memory was being impeached by the defense cross-examination when he said, well, your original statement was that he had a good winter jacket on. That wasn't the case. Right. And that's how that came up.
Right. Right. Exactly. Thank you. So exactly, this is what I'm saying. There's a huge contradiction there. And what I want to know, if he's only had a winter coat on, what did she have on? Did anybody look how many layerings he had on? No, of course not.
I mean, they weren't
visible.
I mean, as far as they knew, when they went out, they were going out for a few drinks locally, and were going to go home until they got invited to this after-hours party.
Right. But I'm just saying there are certain words the defense could tear apart the prosecution putting him up on the stand. Liars. He did say liars. And then here's another thing. He didn't report it for a week after. So it makes you wonder, did he hear that so much, what do you call that? Like an earworm, where you heard it so much that you really believe, like, I heard her say.
So I'm going to tell you I was thinking about this too. I think what is likely is that he did hear it, and that the investigators didn't think to ask these questions for a few days, and then when they talked to him, he said, "Yeah, she did say that." Then it was known, but it's not surprising that there's some days between.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, this is going to be like I told you before when we talked. I definitely think this is going to be an unsolved case.
You're referring to her saying I hit him?
More, I want to say, if I may, Ken, I don't want to interrupt you. May I?
I don't know where you're going, but good. I had a question for you. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, he said that there were scratches on his arm.
Oh, I saw the autopsy photos. There's gouges.
So, did anybody where's the dog? Did anybody do a DNA on that? Was that the dog jumping at and lunging at him because he was hurting? Or is it human? Why didn't anybody do a DNA on her fingertip or anybody at that time?
So you know what I do for a living. I mean, when I'm not on the air, I'm a licensed private investigator. Yeah. So I saw the autopsy photos. And I'm not qualified to say if that was a canine scratch or bite. It could be, but also could have been, for example, the SUV may have dragged his body and a stone on the street caused those gouges. I don't know. I'm not qualified, but the prosecution is saying that they found no canine saliva on the clothing. The defense wanted to look at the clothes. They were denied. I don't know what the latest is.
Yeah, right. That's the problem.
It's a big problem. I mean, there are prosecutors around the country saying these guys, even if the labs are backed up, it shouldn't take this long. They should have shared these things with defense already.
Right. Well, Ken, that's what's been steaming me, my, coffee, is like, oh my God, I'm so mad and I'm just steaming mad. It's like, why is everybody spending... There's no reason for the state to do all this because the first go-to are those scratches. Everybody knows if a female scratches her assailant.
The Ken Pittman Show, 1420 WBSM, New Bedford.
We're back, 508-9960. Let's go back to the phones and welcome our next caller. Hi there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I was watching quite a bit of that Karen Reed testimony, the trial.
Yep.
This week, Court TV is covering it, and so is Channel 8 on Comcast there, NBC 10 in Boston.
Yep.
And this is very confusing to me. They showed... They took some photographs at the scene, and they put them up on the screen there. And I noticed something very peculiar. If they had killed a man inside the house, if they had beaten him up and murdered him inside the house, and then dragged him outside, I noticed the snow was very even all the way from the front door of that house. Have you ever shoveled a walk during a snowstorm? You'll notice that the area that you shoveled is going to be lower than the other area where you didn't shovel.
Right.
And even though it keeps on snowing, that area will remain lower.
Most of the snow happened after 1:30 a.m. It just started dusting between 1:30 and 12:30 when she left and 1:30 when the party broke up. So it's a little tough. But I also read something where there was some evidence that there was blood on top of some of the snow. How could that be? If he was there at 12:30 and got hit, he would be at the very bottom. There shouldn't be any blood on top of snow. I don't know how accurate that was, but I read something about that.
Yeah, and another thing that's perplexing, well, for one thing, all the people involved seem to have been drinking that night. The people inside the house, Karen Reed.
I don't think there's any denying that.
Yeah, and that makes things, that muddies up the waters too. But that house had a lot of windows in the front. If there was a party and a gathering of people in there, I mean, nobody saw anything, nobody heard anything.
Well, there was a plow driver who went by, I think before the party broke up.
Yeah.
I don't know, that I'm not sure about, but I do know there was a plow driver who went by who swears there was no body when he went by. He's sure of it.
Did he have a time to give on that?
Yeah, it was in the early morning. It was after the snow had started, so maybe it was after 1:30. I'm not 100% sure on the time he claims to have gone by, but he made that statement to police that he's sure there was no body.
Well, the fact that she was also drinking that night, they were doing some bar hopping.
Right.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't go the route of, well, this was an accident. I thought it was a bit of a severe penalty. I mean, I can see vehicular homicide, but murder too. Better than first-degree murder.
Well, they're accusing her of second-degree murder. They actually upped the sentence. They actually upped the charges, which is really more aggressive. I personally, I would entertain the idea that okay, they had an argument. She miscalculated. Maybe made a punk move and was just trying to scare him and actually hit him. Maybe something like that happened, but they're trying to say murder too. I mean, you tried to kill him, even though it wasn't premeditated. You tried to kill him, and then you left him. Yeah, that's a very aggressive charge.
I can't get past the part, and I agree with the previous caller that there were so many people on the scene who expressed that she had spoken the words "I hit him." It's my fault. She one testified to the fact he distinctly heard her say, "It's my fault. I hit him." And
but what else is she supposed to imagine? I mean, she called the girl who she's standing next to when she found the body, right? They arrived and she immediately saw the body. That's where she dropped him off. She found him first, which the police made note of. Well, why wouldn't she know exactly where she left him off before the other person? So, number one. Number two, if she called this girl and said, "Hey, he never came home. Did he stay over there?" And she said, "What are you talking about? He never came here." What else is she supposed to believe? His body is right where she dropped him off. I mean, as far as she knows, she's the only one who could have done this. At that point, she was very confused. Did I hit him? Did I kill him? I mean, why wouldn't she entertain that?
Especially since she had been drinking, that's a possibility. Right. I haven't drinking in years, but when I was younger, I left my father's car. He had let me use it down in New Bedford and walked home because I didn't know what I was doing. That's how drunk I was.
Only once in my life did I have to be told what I did while under the influence of alcohol, and that was before I was 20. And
this happened when I was like 18.
Yeah.
You tend to drink between the ages of 17 and 24, and then you wise up after you've been sick so long.
And if you're not wise, if you're over 30 and you're still getting so donkeyed that you can't control your actions or you don't remember anything, maybe you shouldn't be drinking.
Yeah, of course.
You should be able to find your pace and not abuse it. You hit a certain plateau and maintain that until it's time to be responsible again or whatever. But you don't have to get so donkeyed out where you make a fool of yourself every time you drink.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the defense is coming up with an idea that he was beat up in the house and murdered in the house. And so far, I'm not seeing great evidence being brought forward.
Okay, what they're saying is that his Apple Watch shows that he was in the house, that he went down a flight of stairs. We know that the homeowner changed the floorboards downstairs, the carpet, the railings. We know they sold the home. They get rid of the 7-year pet. We know that the homeowner was also a Boston police officer with a crime scene and a dead body of a fellow Boston police officer on the edge of his lawn. He never came out once the whole day. That bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all, that nobody noticed that. I don't know. The people in the house seem to be oblivious to what was going on outside.
And I'm not convinced that this is a setup, this is a framing. What I'm saying is that there is a compelling case. If the defense's theory, if their accusations and their statements, for example, they're still fighting the timeline of when the person that invited them to the party, Jennifer, is it McCabe? Jennifer McCabe, the sister-in-law of the homeowner.
Yeah.
They're saying at 2:30 in the morning, an hour after everybody dispersed suddenly, she Googled how long before a body dies in the cold after she got to her home. Now,
Really?
if you entertain that, maybe she's just looking out at the snowstorm and was curious about hypothermia, not knowing there was a body out there, right? Just for a moment, just entertain that. You can understand why she would do that. But why did she delete it? And then calls were placed to everybody that went to that party that night, and those calls were erased. So these are fair questions.
Yeah. There's a lot of confusing aspects to this.
You have a state police trained lead investigator. This is somebody who's in charge of a lot of homicide investigations for Norfolk County DA's office, State Trooper Proctor, who it's my understanding is an excellent professional. But when he impounded Karen Reed's car from the parents' home, he wrote. And this is very important because the articles of when you have custody of evidence, the records have got to be like pimp tight. You can't screw these up. He wrote that the car was taken away at 5:30 when in fact it was taken away at 4:30. So there's an hour unaccounted for, if you're using the defense's theory.
Well, you tend to believe these people didn't even have wristwatches on. I don't know. From some of the testimony I'm hearing. They
denied that the nephew who had a physical altercation with the victim on the street they both lived at in Canton. They said he wasn't there. It turns out he was there. And on social media, the following days, all of his knuckles are scraped.
Really?
So there's some things. There's some things that make it curious.
Yeah, you're bringing things up that I wasn't aware of. Especially, did these people sell that house after this incident?
Yes.
Right after this incident?
Yeah, they got rid of the dog and then they sold the house. Yes.
Really? After the incident occurred, they didn't have that house for sale prior to?
Correct.
Yeah, that's very suspicious.
Well, they changed the floorboards, the rug, and the railings downstairs.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, it's easier to believe, and I'm still inclined to think this was a terrible accident. They're overcharging her, and that all these cops and other witnesses wouldn't ruin their lives to cover up the actions of a couple who may have jumped on them and the dog contributed. I don't know, but for them to all cover this up, it's very hard to believe.
It's hard to believe that so many people would be willing to participate in a cover-up.
Now, here's the real kick I haven't shared with you yet. The FBI got involved, and much to the chagrin of the DA, who made a stupid statement saying that it's not their jurisdiction, they should stay out of it. He should have said, well, they're going to find the same things we found out. They have 3 forensic accident reconstructionists. That's all they do is study the bodies and these kind of things. They said this SUV could not have killed her. Could have killed John O'Keefe.
Really? Yeah. Well, I'm not aware of these facts. I didn't see them in the courtroom, but not yet anyway.
Well, I want to remind you, some of what I shared is the defense's theory, but that's a fact that the FBI, their experts said it wasn't the SUV.
Yeah. Well, I believe that they can come up with that kind of evidence because they measure the height of the bottom of the car, and SUVs are taller. They're higher off the ground. There's a lot of things that they can examine and look at the injuries on the body.
Now, the defense is also saying that there is a church that has a functioning surveillance video footage of that night, and it's on the main drag where both ends of this neighborhood have to come out to the same main drag. She's saying she came out on side A. The police are saying she went out on side B, which lends to their theory that she did this. She said she came out side A, and she went towards the church. The camera works. The footage was there. The defense is saying, except for the 2 minutes that would have proved that she drove by.
Wow. This is why I'm so confused. And if there's so many different people involved in a cover-up here, I just find that hard to swallow. Somebody's going to tell the truth at some point.
Well, especially if the FBI is involved, they're going to say you do want to be the hammer or the nail, because if you're involved with this and you don't help yourself now, somebody's going to break, and it should be you. I think they're going to apply that kind of pressure if they believe that's the case. They may not get into this at all. They did get into some aspects of it because they found right away that they disagreed with the prosecutor's findings. And it's very unusual for the FBI to get involved in a case like this, but they did.
I wonder how they decided to do that. Is it because of the publicity surrounding the case, or the fact that police officers may have been involved?
I think it's comforting to know that there are checks and balances. If they see something that they think could possibly be a cover-up, they'll get involved.
I know that the FBI will step in cases of police corruption, where local police like in the case of New Orleans during the hurricane there, where they were running criminal operations in the city and everything. The FBI, because they can't trust the local authorities to honestly take a look at the situation.
I've been around police my whole life, family, friends, and I got to tell you, they are good to each other, and they look out for each other. And it doesn't matter if you are a cop broken down in one town; they come out in full force. They take care of you. And so, for a fellow Boston policeman to not come outside the entire day with cops working in the cold, right, working in the snow, you're not going to come out and say you want to come in and warm up, you want to use the bathroom, you want a coffee. Didn't come out one time while a fellow Boston patrolman is lying in front of his yard. That bothers me the most, I think.
Did the homicide detectives go inside the house and look around? One
Canton police officer entered the home, and he was a lifelong friend, drinking buddy. From what this is the defense's description of who went inside the home.
That's strange to me. I mean, you would think that would be something. They'd get a search warrant. They'd take a good look inside that house, and if there's any evidence in there, they'd want to see it. And
then don't forget the state trooper I just mentioned, the lead investigator. I lost you there, but I think we were.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Hi. Just hold on one minute because I want to finish that thought. Hold on one second. So I just want to point out one thing that State Trooper Proctor, the lead investigator in this homicide case, also had to go before the grand jury and admit that he misled investigators about how well he knew the parties in the home. Another real problem with this whole thing, I think. All right, let's put him back on the air. Hi, good morning. I'm sorry about that.
My question is this guy just stood in one spot and let her run him over?
Oh, he may not. I mean, don't forget now, he had been drinking. Maybe he was looking down at his phone and got backed over. I don't know. I mean,
I got questions about that, man. I mean, I drive a tow truck. This lady been drinking. He been drinking. You're paying. I just don't understand how you stand in one spot and allow yourself to get ran over.
So
enough to get killed.
The last,
I mean, you get hit by a car, but you get out of the way.
Well, what if he was tying his shoe and hit his head immediately?
Okay, maybe.
Right. I mean, it's possible, right? But so. I don't, but even more so, the prosecution just only a week before the trial began released an audio tape and the text messages by Karen Reed. She was furious that she couldn't reach her boyfriend John, and was saying, "I effing hate you, Johnny." Well, so I don't think that really disturbs me or implies that she's guilty or from raging or whatever, because I know if I get in a fight with my wife and I'm intoxicated and I go into a house party where I know there are women and I'm not answering the phone and I'm not home, all these hours later.
She's going to be saying some stuff that
exactly
you wouldn't normally say.
Right. Yeah, they're going to be,
I mean, I would.
It's understandable. And so I don't think that they thought it had the impact that they were hoping for. I can understand. But so it doesn't sound, to me, it sounds like a woman who doesn't understand the guy she's mad at is dead.
Absolutely. I agree.
If I'm a juror, that's how, that's just my instinct to think like that. But she's also a teacher at Bentley University, so she's a smart person. Could she have been that calculated to make that call knowing what she did? That's going to be hard to believe.
Yeah, in the middle of the night while she's intoxicated, she came up with that quick?
They had a big fight. Fine. They've been having fights lately. Maybe the relationship was coming to an end. The kids that he adopted his sister's kids when she died of cancer, and her husband dropped dead 6 weeks later of a heart attack.
Yeah, he's an absolutely amazing person.
Hero.
And his family's saying that she was a good person too, and that they all liked her.
Yeah, but I think they want somebody to pay for this, and I think the mother, who I know, his mother, her worst nightmare is that nobody's going to pay for this.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Somebody needs to go to jail for sure.
Yes.
Anyway, have a good weekend, Ken.
Same to you. Thanks. Hi, caller. You are on the air. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, let me put this down.
Thank you.
I just want to say one more thing. With everything going on with that case, point is, if I don't think there's going to be I don't think there should be a jury trial at all for
Why?
her. because I feel like there's been so much built out. And as I told you, the DNA, you said the DNA did come back?
Wait a minute, though. That's troubling to me because you, as a defendant, get to choose a jury or judge. That's their American right to do that. So what they could have done is removed the case and recused it and brought it over to another county where maybe people aren't as familiar. But she has the right to a jury if she wants.
Everybody knows.
She has a right to it. Oh, everybody knew O.J. Simpson. Yeah. Everybody knew O.J. Simpson. Everybody knows Tsarnaev. They're still entitled. American law, you're entitled to a jury.
Yeah, but you know what stinks about that? Like I was just trying to say, everything about everything is oh my stars! You know, it's there whether you like it or not, and jurors got to stay in maybe a room. Even for little civil cases, even for everything, because there's so much knowledge.
Yeah, but you can't unclang the bell when you haven't even picked the jury yet, and they've already been watching months and months of news.
You're doing the Belfort thing, right?
No,
yeah.
no. What I'm saying is, the jury can't unhear what they heard before they were selected as jurors.
I know if I heard it, I don't generally get earworms, but sometimes I do. When my friend would say, hey, listen to this new song, and it would be an earworm. So, I mean, we are just, I can't even believe I was going to say the word Americans, but people, human beings, we are subjected to what we hear and how we conjugate all
No, I agree, but keep in mind, they're also going to be subjected to a lot of evidence that the prosecutors have not shared. They were keeping their powder dry while the defense did their whole theory. So they could knock all these. Well, let's talk one at a time. They could knock down. They could knock down these accusations by the defense one by one effectively. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So therefore, I will go back, and I apologize for stepping over you while you were talking. I am going to go back over the fact that when there's all that there, then and there, how can you? I don't know. I'm so frustrated. I wish I was a lawyer or an aide to a lawyer. There's too much there. There's so much saying no, but there's a lot saying yes. I am like, ugh.
But so just understand, in a case like this, you could have a juror during the course of a trial change their mind 20 times. Certain things are going to influence them. So I think whether the jury's aware of it prior to being a juror or not, they're still going to find and see things and learn things that could change their mind more than once.
Yeah, as it goes along.
Right. And I got to hold you there, though, okay? I appreciate the call.
You know what, Ken? I got to tell you, I love your show. I love you, and I love the sports thing, because I really did want to talk a little bit about sports today.
Next week.
But I love the fact you brought this up, and I really enjoy your show, Ken.
Love, 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 love. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. You're next. Hello. Good afternoon. Oh, it's not afternoon. Good morning still.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi.
Gilly Fafiolis.
Hey, Gilly.
Yeah, I have a question for you. You just made a statement about everybody's got a right to a jury trial, right?
Yep. You get to choose. You get to choose, don't you?
No, you don't. I'm going to give you an example that happened. Remember when I got arrested for clapping?
Yes.
Okay, I got arrested for clapping, and it was a criminal trespassing that they arrested me for. Okay.
Were you ordered Were you ordered not to show up there?
No. I left. I mean, I got arrested, so I had to go to court. So I hired an attorney. Okay, I won't mention the attorney's name. I paid him $3,500. I wanted to go have a jury trial, and it was on October 12th. I forgot the year. When we got to court, we were in court. The DA, the assistant DA, the head of Pivo was his name. He told the judge that we're going to change the charges from criminal trespass to civil trespassing, where you have to hear it. I wasn't allowed. I even said to my lawyer, am I going to get some of my money back? He says, no. I paid him $3,500 to do.
Well, that's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of money to an attorney, to be honest. But why would his time be lesser for defending you in a civil matter?
He didn't decide it because the judge had to hear it.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, a lawyer's going to chew up those hours with $3,500. I mean, that's not a lot of money.
No, I'm only arguing the part about you say we have a right for us to have a jury trial. They switched the charges at the last minute so the judge can hear it. So I didn't get my right to have because they switched. If they would have done that in the first place, I could have. They charged me $100.
I'll be honest. I'm unqualified to say if that was legit or not. It must be if the judge and if the prosecutor. You think the prosecutor did that specifically so you wouldn't have a jury?
Yes, because he said to the judge, "There's a lot of pitfalls in this stuff." So in other words, the jury. They won't understand all the things, so we're going to let you decide.
So why didn't you countersue for your legal defenses?
Because I'm an idiot. I don't know the law, but I know that.
I would have sued. Listen, if you thought you were right and that you were denied your process, I mean, if you thought you were not represented correctly or if your rights were violated, I mean, I don't know why you didn't look into it and have a counter lawsuit and get your money back for your defenses.
I'm going to tell you why, because no lawyers want to get involved in this area with the courts.
There's a lawyer somewhere that will. So what? You got to find him out in Western Mass. I mean, somebody's going to take this case.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just calling up when you said you told the lady that about you have the right to have a jury trial.
That's in your Miranda rights, isn't it? Isn't it?
You're the private investigator, Tim.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer though.
I know that, but I went through it. I want to find out what's going to happen with Linda Morad attacking me with the chief of police at the podium when we go. They didn't even want to put charges against her.
So let me read this to you. The Sixth Amendment states that in all criminal prosecutions, the accused criminal has the right to a trial by an impartial jury. So civil is not the same.
Right, because that's why I got arrested for criminal trespassing.
They gave you the end around.
They should, and not only that, they stuck it up my rear end.
Oh no! Wait a second. Let's talk about something else. No, but so you lost.
Yeah, I got fined $100.
What did the judge say that what qualified you as illegally trespassing? What did he say?
The judge didn't say nothing. That was the district attorney, assistant district attorney.
No. But if you lost, the judge had to come to that conclusion.
But I was wrong.
But what did he say? What did he say qualified illegal trespassing?
I have no idea. I don't remember the thing.
You got to know that. You have to know that.
What?
I mean, you've had how many months to look into this? You should know the facts now. What was his conclusion? How did he come to this? I mean, you ought to have that understanding.
Ken, the only thing I want to tell you is that I went to court for criminal trespassing, and they changed the charges at the last minute so they can control the courts. That's all I want to tell you. That's all.
Okay, but you know the thing is, you can't really say that with authority because you don't know what the judge said. He may have said something that made perfect sense for all I know.
Yeah, probably, but when you said that you have the right
as a criminal,
that's where I got charged for. When I got arrested and had to go to jail, that's where I got charged for.
Yeah, and they dropped it, went to civil, which, you know, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's not such a terrible maneuver.
Okay. All right, then. But you can't get on the radio and say we have the right to do it.
Well, I did. Criminally, you were no longer charged criminally, so you're no longer entitled to a jury. That's what the Sixth Amendment says.
What? I understand.
They're not going to do that. Why? They can't do that in a murder case. You can't civilly murder somebody.
No, Ken, I'm not comparing the murder case and all that, but if you ask anybody out there, any common folks, they're going to think like you thought. You have the right to a jury
criminally
duty.
As a criminal.
Well, nobody uses the word criminal.
It's in the Sixth Amendment. Criminal prosecutions.
But when you just made the statement, you said you have a right to a jury duty.
A jury duty? No.
I mean, Judy.
Judy who?
Yeah. Well, that's what the statement you made, Ken.
All right.
You have the right to a jury trial.
All right.
You do not have the jury trial. That's all I want to bring up.
Okay.
I know that between civil and whatchamacallit.
Criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
know that-
but you're not necessarily universally entitled. You can get a jury in a civil trial, but apparently it's not universal. I got to hold you, Gilly. Thanks for making it about you. But anyway, right to a jury's for criminals. We're coming back in a moment. You're listening to The Ken Pittman Show. So we learned that you don't get every time in a civil trial. Some you do, some you don't. For you're not guaranteed a jury. Criminally, you are, which is, it was brought up because somebody said that Karen Reed shouldn't have a jury; it should be a judge because the juries are all tainted, which probably might be true. And that's the case in O.J. Simpson, and it works for the prosecution. Sometimes works against the prosecution. Sometimes. What? What do you disagree? Brian's giving me the eyebrows.
No, well, maybe I'm giving you the eyebrows, but it's not you I'm giving the eyebrows to. If a jury could be tainted, can a judge be tainted?
Absolutely. But a judge is a trained professional. Jurors are not.
Could be, but
they're only given instructions.
In saying that a judge is a trained professional,
a legal scholar,
maybe they're also trained to hide their
ideology,
bias.
And I'm sure that's the case in countless cases, right? Whether it's racism, ideological bigotry, whatever. They're human beings.
No, exactly that. I think that's what it
like
comes
a journalist could abandon their mission to just report the news and opine on it, right?
Yes.
And that's common. So I suppose that's true. But you have a little faith in their legal scholar buffer that hopefully that's a firewall to help them, preside over these things judiciously and
is that what you thought of Senator George Mitchell?
Like I say, you can have flaws, and certainly all these lawyers in Congress are certainly biased, right?
One way or the other.
They're all attorneys.
They weren't necessarily judges, but George Mitchell
qualified.
was on the Maine Supreme Court.
Yeah.
You
do. You have problems, but I think a lot of people feel in some cases they'd rather have a judge instead of a jury that can be swayed. It depends on the case.
Depends on the case.
Yeah. And I think the defense attorney really gets to influence the defendant's decision on which way to go, right?
And that's why you never choose a court-appointed attorney, because they work for the prosecution. Well, they work for that side of the. That's how they're hired. They work for the county.
Aren't they in a pool?
They are, but they're still working for the county.
Yeah, but they also like to win, I hope.
Well, there you go. You hope.
But it's on their record. If you are a stud court-appointed attorney, and you're 101-0, you're going to get picked up by a major firm and get a bigger salary, I think.
Oh, I think just because you are a court-appointed attorney doesn't mean that you don't work for a law firm,
right,
or have your own.
True, firm. But if you're in that pool and you're not necessarily an elite in your field, you could rise to it by being very successful in those courts and get noticed, I guess.
I think it's a 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But
system?
If I'm the defendant, I don't want, especially most defendants who end up choosing a court-appointed attorney, they usually don't know who that attorney is.
Right.
So, hey, I'll take him.
You can get Mr. Bean for all you know.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? But, I've been underwhelmed by these prestigious law firms working for them and realizing how unprepared they are when they go to court.
Sure.
One thing about getting a popular top lawyer is they have so many cases they're juggling. Sometimes they cram just before they actually go in the room and may not be prepared for all the things they should know. Oh, I know. Yeah. I know. And there are plenty of lawyers that I work for, many who I would refer, but some who I wouldn't refer. Yeah. I just don't. I just because it's not really a favor. It's too important. So you got to make sure you're putting people in the right hands.
If your life or your money is on the line, do you really want to go with somebody you can't really say, I want that person?
Call 1-800-222.
Yeah. Well, at least you don't have to pay up front with them.
I love that guy. I love when he wears his little brother's Izod so he can show the guns. It's my favorite commercial. They're all great. All his commercials are so bad, they're great. It's like watching Hercules in New York, Arnold Schwarzenegger's first movie. It's so bad, it's awesome. It's a different category. I love those ads. I remember, wow, he's trying to make a legit ad here. He's got a library behind him, and then his ear disappears. You realize he doesn't have a library of books. That's a green screen, right? Everything goes wrong in those commercials for him. Something to pick out, like you got to know the law. You got to know the rules in there. And he uses the sports metaphor, and he has a guy sliding into home plate coming from first base. There's something wrong with every one of his commercials. It's awesome.
Is that an Arnold?
No,
or did you
the heavy hitter. The heavy hitter there.
Oh.
I don't know if you saw those ads. They're everywhere. He's very successful. He's probably very good.
He is. I mean, if you're doing ads the way that, that he does.
He's got volume. He's in demand, so good for him.
My guess is...
But his ads are terrible.
It's not so much that he's in demand, but he's got a team of attorneys working for him because he's on in Rhode Island and in Massachusetts.
They know he's out there, and, and the jingle helps you to call that number. We're done. Thanks, Brian.
WBSM
and Ryan.
W258DR, New Bedford, a Town Square media station.